Cool. Okay, so I messed around a bit with the Twitch settings. I dropped down the resolution to 1280 by 720 instead of full HD. Um, I also increased the frame rate to 60 frames a second. Or did I? No, it's at 30. I'm just testing it out at 30 actually. It looks really good at 60. The problem is it only looks good when you do stuff like minimize, maximize, minimize, maximize. But when it's coding, it like doesn't really make too much of a difference. And also, my internet connection is so bad, I don't think I can really stream reliably at 60 frames a second. So it's only really going to be noticeable on YouTube, um, and it's just really not that noticeable. So maybe I'll do it later, but for now, 30 frames a second, 1280, 720p, 720 pixels. Okay, so today I'm going to continue working on the rooms. I might define a few more rooms. They're quite easy to define if we're just adding in graphics, especially. So I'm going to create the room to the left of Mean Streets 1, to the right of Mean Streets 1, and I'm going to define McDonald's, well not McDonald's, Bifo, a LAN cafe, and the bakery. So that should be 5 more rooms. And we'll just do it sort of like this as well, right? So, oh, what's going on here? What? Oh yeah, okay, that's setting the initial room. 1, define all the rooms in this game. Start off in Main Streets 1. Cool. And we'll make a bunch more of these. We need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to be called different things. Create. Create Mean Streets 2. And then this one is called Create Outside Bifo. Create Inside Bifo. Create inside LAN cafe, I guess we'll just call it that. Create LAN cafe, and also create bakery. Okay, so that's quite a lot of rooms. These two, Mean Streets 1, Mean Streets 2, outside Bifo, they are linked. Like they're joined together. So the left of Mean Streets 1 is outside Bifo, the right of Mean Streets 1 is Mean Streets 2. These two, you enter them by clicking on hotspots, right? And so we want to just kind of do this sort of thing. Could even go like this, because they're all going to have backgrounds. Okay, so create. Right, so this is kind of like our template. And we need 5, so we just do it 5 times. You know, later this looks stupid, right? And it is a little bit stupid, but we're gonna dupe it out so that later on this is all gonna be moved out into some sort of configuration file, like either an XML file or like a JSON file or whatever, right? Even a text file is fine. But this is kind of like the intermediate form between having that representation and the previous really bad representation. So it's like a stepping stone. And we actually might not move to the might not move to the text file or configuration file format, because I don't anticipate making another game like this anytime soon, so I don't really see any point to making a really good engine. The only reason I want to do this is just like it's just like a programming activity, programming exercise. Mean Streets 2, outside Bifo. inside BIFO. Cafe, bakery, right? And then we'll have like, we should look at the backgrounds, like what these files are called. So we've got Main Streets 2, which I think is called Main Streets, it's called B, yep. And we have outside BIFO, which is called, what is it called? Oh, BIFO string, okay. Fine. Inside BIFO is called inside BIFO? Yeah. BIFO stands for Baller Industries Food Outlet. It's basically McDonald's, right? LAN Cafe is LAN Cafe. And then bakery is bakery. Great. So now these objects are defined. So I want to change up the room definition as well, so that instead of having like this left room, right room, top room, bottom room, I don't want to get rid of these because these are definitely referenced somewhere. Well, not too many places. I guess we could just get rid of them and fix up here. We can just get rid of them actually. So public int. I'll rename them as well. North room. They're not ints. They're types. North room. East room. South room. West room. Right. Cool. And these just define, like, if you walk to the north, what room are you pointing to? If you walk to the east, what room are you pointing to? And actually, we should have a default type of none. I think if we don't set these, they just default to none, but I'm not too sure. I think that's the case. Okay, so back to the room manager. So I guess we'll do this room dot east room equals room type dot main streets 2, right? Room dot west room equals room dot type dot outside BIFO. Right, cool. And main streets 2, I know that this has got 2 rooms it can point to. The left is main streets 1, then the north is back alley, right? So room dot west room equals room dot type dot main streets 1. We haven't defined the back alley room yet, and we could dot back alley. We can just do that later. I mean, there's quite a few rooms in this game, and to do them all is like super tedious. We do need to do them all eventually, but I just want to do some and then get it working, and then maybe do all of them later. So BIFO, it actually only has a east room. Room dot east room equals room dot type dot main streets 1. Inside BIFO doesn't have any, LAN Cafe doesn't have any, and bakery doesn't have any. Another thing we want to define is this: is ego visible. It might make sense to do that in the constructor actually. You might think, oh, why don't we do this in the constructor, right? And we could. It's just like, it's just a little tedious. because you don't want a constructor that's just really massive, like. Yeah, we can do that outside. So another thing we want to define is ego visible. Now I know in here it's like defaulting to true, and if we don't set it, it defaults to false. But I think the default behavior is better actually, to just have it as false by default. And we'll just set it on every room anyway, even though when we set it to false, we're just doing nothing. It's just a bit more clear. Room.isEgoVisible equals true, right? Because Wilson's gonna walk around on these rooms. A lot of this stuff might not make sense to you, but it might make a bit more sense when we get it going. Inside Wi-Fi, that's false, because these rooms are like kind of from the point of view of Wilson, whereas the other rooms you actually see Wilson in third person view. A better name might be like is first person view, is third person view. Okay. So we got the backgrounds and we got the room set. So what we could do is we could change the starting room to a different one. So we could change it to Land Cafe, right? Let's try that out. We'll just comment this out. Oh yeah, I only want to go for an hour again. So how long have we been going for? 12 minutes. So we want to do 48 more minutes, 47 more minutes. Okay. Uh-oh! Yeah, you're right. So this, I just have a feeling I don't want that code. What's this? It's a cutscene. Post cutscene action. These are really dirty. So basically, cutscenes, they're just supposed to really, like, if you're going to be a purist, and we want to be a purist because we're refactoring this, we just want to define cues, right? So this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. What's this? This is not fine. This is just doing some game logic sort of stuff. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. And then this sort of stuff down here is not fine. Yeah, make some game state change after the cutscene. So we move Wilson's position, we set the money to 0, we what's this? We add $100 to the street. So basically it's doing a lot of game state changes after this cutscene. We need to figure out a way to make these changes happen. We want to make them more clear, because it's really hard to track down where this change happened, especially if you make the assumption that these methods only load queues. They don't do any state changes to the world. I don't know how we're going to deal with that, actually. Maybe we could just explicitly create another method like post cutscene action and then a blob of code, right? But we can think about that later. It's definitely something I want to change. This is a lot of it. I mean, most of them it's just queues. It's just queues. But you know, this one is like, yeah, look, there's some hack that's doing something. Like, I wrote this, but I don't know what's going on here. You know, it's bad. Right, let's get this compiling. You're damn right it doesn't. Yeah, we don't want it. Yeah, that's another thing we need to think about, because
Wilson is
Cool, so that worked. We're in the land cafe now. But are we supposed to be in the land cafe? Did I set it to land cafe? Yeah, I did. Okay. So it's more or less working. Um, just go back to what it was before.
Wilson is playing Dota. He is a major pro, and his Dota.
Son, I am
But
download.
so released into the wild, Wilson must now fend for himself. What challenges await him? Only time will
Yeah, that's
tell.
bad. Those two views were clashing. These two graphics are clashing as well. This is not even defined at all. Yeah, so some problems. We're in game state right now. Okay, so we've defined a few more rooms, and I wanna let Wilson walk around. Gameplay state. So in gameplay state, we definitely want a pointer to the player, right? And to get that, we actually need to create a character manager. So let's do that. I'm just gonna do something a bit lazy. Copy this skeleton, and then make a character manager. New item. Character manager. Yep. And then all this stuff can go away. And this needs to be that. So we want the same sort of thing. We probably want a dictionary character dot type and point to a character. Just copy this angle bracket section. And that should be, oh yeah, okay, we haven't defined the character type yet. So that's quite easy. We just go in here and go public enum type none. And then what characters do we have? I'm thinking we only have Wilson and we have a lot, but we just don't really need a lot of them. So we got Wilson. What's that like that? We've got Article, we've got Baker, Fancy, Bifo Man, plus Man A, plus Man B, plus Man C, plus Man D. Hobo, Land Cafe King, Mugger, Police Bar, Police. You could call them ABC, right? Police A, Police B, Police C. Tony. Wilson Chair, Wilson Close, Wilson Dad, Wilson Hobo, Wilson Right. Wilson Morphine. No, we don't need those. Cool, so we got these, and we want. No. I want to change this constructor as well. It's got a lot of irrelevant stuff. Actually, like Wilson, and that's it. Our characters, because characters have this sort of stuff going on, whereas everything else is just a static game object that does not move. Maybe Wilson should be. Maybe Wilson should be. Maybe Wilson should be. So these characters can be like really simple. They're just game objects, really, and then Wilson can be a specialized game object. Why do we even need the game object class? I mean, it's referenced everywhere, but does it need to be? It's not even referenced in that many places. I mean, these are all made by us, and then these are all old code that looks mostly irrelevant. Mostly irrelevant. Okay, so there's a lot more game objects. Like there's a table, there's this other table, there's this for sale sign, there's money, there's a note, there's a car, there's another car, and then think about this later. The problem is I don't want to define like a. Okay, so first of all, down texture num is stupid. We don't need that. I don't think it's referenced anywhere. So let's get rid of it. It's not. Okay, so straight up, refactor, remove parameters, down texture num, remove, apply. So what was down texture num? So in old games like Leisure Suit Larry and Space Quest, well, not really Space Quest, but basically Leisure Suit Larry and probably some other ones I haven't played. You could walk. The characters would walk up, walk down, walk left, walk right, and when they're walking up, you saw their back. When they're walking down, you saw their front. When they're walking right or left, you saw them on the side. And so you'd have 4 different textures for each of those. You actually would only have 3, but you would have 3 different textures for each of those. And my idea was, oh, I'll just store all 3 textures in the character object. So walk up texture, down texture, and then like left texture, right? Down texture num. Yeah, we don't need any of these. Num frames, kind of current frame, yes. Framebox, yes. Character num, no, but I think it's gonna chuck a hissy fit if we get rid of it. Oh no, this we can get rid of a lot because there's nobody's calling this constructor because we commented everything out. So we can just kind of rewrite it however we want. We don't even need to do this refactor thing because nobody calls it. But let's just do it anyway to be character num. Remove speed. Remove. What else we got? Texture name. We need that. Position. Yeah, okay, position can stay. We need a draw order though. We do need a draw order. So speed and character num, kill it. What's left move, down move, right move, left move, right move, left move? Yeah, I kind of know what those are. We'll work towards getting rid of it. Moving left, moving right, moving up, moving down. Moving up and moving down are not used. These are bullet right there, yeah. They are. Left move, right move, frame box, current frame, num frames. Okay. We do need a draw order. So it should be position, texture name. And draw order is an int, I think. Yeah, it is. Int draw order. I don't like how it's named order. I want to rename it to draw order. That's not good. Draw order. Draw order. Cool. Yeah, just get rid of these comments from a million years ago. Okay. We probably also want to type in the constructor. Yeah, we definitely do. So type will probably be one of the first things. Type, this dot type. This oh, we don't have a definition for type. Okay. Private or maybe public read only type 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 type. No speed. So this is where Wilson's being moved. The logic's retarded. So if you press up, down, left, or right, then it'll just move Wilson up, down, left, or right. It creates this new position thing, and then it tests if the new position is in the walking zone, and if it is, then the current position is the new position. It's not too bad. It's just it's a bit messy. Like this part is particularly not good. It should just basically, yeah. We shouldn't be calling get state every time, but we'll just comment that out. I'm gonna do that differently. Not too differently, but a little bit differently.
Wilson.
Okay. Yeah. Let's combine. So we want to make some characters. I'll probably do another add character thing, just because of the duplication thing with the states. Because we have, like, we define a state in the character constructor, and we define a state in. It's a key for the dictionary. So you don't want to type it in twice. So add character, characters, character. Room dictionary. That's not the right name. Character dot type. Character. It's add character dot type character. Right. That should be fine. What's wrong? Right. I don't like this name, room dictionary. Character dictionary makes a lot more sense. And then we'll just add characters. New character. Character type dot Wilson. Position is, when does Wilson start? Where's all but this? Game 1 underscore cuts and loaders. $400, $360. New vector 2, $400, $360. Draw order should be, God, I don't know. What do we set it in our room? 1, I'm thinking. 1 makes sense, right? String texture name equals. Characters. Wilson, where's Wilson? Wilson walking. Yeah, okay. Character slash Wilson walking. What's going on? What are you loading? Okay. So we got a character, and then we also want to be able to get characters. So public character get character. pass in a type, character.type, type, and then we'll just do a return character dictionary type. And we just assume that, like, some people like to check to see if it's in the dictionary, but if it crashes, that's a bug we absolutely have to fix. So it's crashing is the right behavior.
Wilson is playing Dodo.
That's weird. Oh no, it's not weird. It's not weird. I was expecting to see 4 Wilsons, but the reason we don't see 4 Wilsons is because we've defined him in a different way in Room Manager. So yeah, he's like this in Room Manager. Actually, he's 2. Does he need to be 2? Yeah, we'll just set him as 2. Okay, is that gonna work? I don't know, let's find out. What time is it?
Wilson.
Looks like it didn't work. Oh, okay, that's not too big a deal. Um, Basically, character manager, define Wilson encoder, Wilson walking. I think it should be this, or is it this? Or is it characters? Is that why? Yeah, looks like. Yeah, okay, so that's what I wanted. It's wrong, but it's actually drawing the characters. So, good. Okay, I need to get a drink. Today we have a dog. Wait, Scooby. 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 Alright. Alright. Okay, we can't fail now. Because we've got a dog on the stream. Can you guys see him? No. Scooby. Scooby. Yes, hello. Oh, he smells so bad. Okay. Let's get back to programming. Okay, so Wilson's drawing on the screen, but we only want one of him. And I think I am going to go with the superclass, subclassing, superclassing, subclassing, specializing, I don't know, specializing, creating a special object called ego, which is basically a subclass. I don't know what the terminology, but basically like it inherits character, right? And we don't need that. This is not Swift. Oops. So we'll have like a public ego, and then the base is type Wilson, I believe, because it's only going to be Wilson. Position is going to be yeah. I mean, I was thinking I could just define all that stuff because we only have one ego in the game. But I mean, it's okay to define it outside here as well. So we'll just do like type. So we'll just pass a type, position, draw order, texture name. We need to reference the X and A shit. So grab this here. Right. So type is a character dot type vector to position int draw order string texture name. It's nice to smash this stuff down here. I don't think we need anything else. Oh no, we do, but we'll get it later. So how is ego different from other characters? Well, the only difference is it can be moved around by keyboard controls. And the other difference is it has a sprite sheet. So I want to grab this stuff, move left, move right, change animation, and just smash it into ego. And then we'll know what kind of parameters we need in ego. Oh no, it's not going to tell us because it has access to them down here. Okay, so we're actually going to have to think, which is such a bummer. Moving left, moving right, frame box, current frame, no frame. Yeah, that looks like about right. Yeah, so take that, smash it into here. I would like to make it private. Oh shit. So another thing is we've just got more stuff to define. And our constructor is getting quite long. Scooby, what do we do? My dog really smells. I really regret touching him. He smells so bad. Scooby! So we need to define the initial size of Wilson's frame, which is a bit less than a quarter of the texture size. The current frame is just going to be 0. Num frames is going to be 4. Frame box, I might like cheat and just, yeah, this is not great, but I'm just going to do it like this and then figure out how I want to define it. Because it looks like we need 2 more parameters in our constructor, and it's starting to get a bit big, and I just don't like that. But it might be okay to just have a huge constructor. Or we could just have like, we could just create the object and then set it on the object, and then just kind of like the way we do rooms. Anyway, I'm just gonna do it like this for now. So Wilson's box is game 1. Wilson. I think he's called Ego. Is he called Ego? Yeah, he is. So we don't actually set it. Where the fuck is it set? Oh, is it set later on? Yeah, it is. Okay. So the frame box is 150, 350. Yeah. And yeah. And so we'll have like an update and a draw. Do we want an update? Yeah, we want an update. So these can be all private. And this moving right, moving left stuff is a bit silly. Like, we could just have let's do it a different way. But we'll clean up later. So we'll have like a public void update. Maybe we pass in game time. I don't think we need it, so let's just not pass it in. Even though, yeah, public void draw, sprite batch. And we'll just have a sprite batch draw. The texture will be texture. Do we have access to it? We don't. So game object. Instead of private, it should be protected. Texture name. Okay, so you go. Yep. So texture. Current frame. Do we have one? 0. Oh. So frame box is actually adjusted, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Frame box. And then color white. No, we need the one with 2. We need position. Frame box. Color white. Yeah, that looks right. And in update, we're gonna have like if controls dot up. Else if controls up down. If controls stop left. Else if controls up right. And I think we can just do, yeah, so it looks like these actually just animate and they don't actually move Wilson around. So this position is public actually, so we can just access it directly. Constant speed equals 8, I don't know. Position dot y minus equals speed. Position dot y plus equals speed. Position dot x minus equals speed. Position dot x plus equals speed. Right? I think that's fair. The only thing I don't like is these 3 things being hard coded into the equal object. We can move it out later. Character manager. So instead of adding, I think we can actually just replace the constructor. Seems identical, doesn't it? I think we can do that. All right. And in gameplay state, nice gameplay state, gameplay state. We wanna reference to an ego, right? We should be able to do on initialize, so we can just go this dot ego equals ego character manager dot instance dot get character dot type dot Wilson. And then on update we can call ego dot update. Update? No. Why not? Why not? What's wrong? Oh, okay. That's not supposed to be a character, it's supposed to be an ego. Update. Is that ego or like Wilson? Okay, so I'm hoping that there's only going to be one Wilson, and we should be able to move Wilson around with the arrow keys. So let's see if that works. No, does not work. Too bad! What's this? Yeah, okay, so this is just another thing we need to be mindful of. Actually, maybe not. Because if we're doing the room
Wilson
contest
is
thing, we got 4 Wilsons. Wilson, Wilson, so many Wilsons, 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 we got a lot of Wilsons. I think the problem is we forgot to override draw. Yeah. So game object dot draw. Where is it? It should be virtual. And then ego should be able to go public override. Is that okay? Yeah. What?
Wilson.
Yeah, good. He's moonwalking all over the place. That's pretty good. One thing I want is when he's like when his shoes, like let's just say when his Z position, he doesn't really have a Z position, but basically when he's like in front of the Ferrari, in front of the sports car, he should draw in front of it. When he's behind it, he should draw behind it, right? So right now he's always just drawing behind it, which is no good. Same thing for Article, like here he should be behind Article, but he's not. Another thing we want to do later is we need to adjust. He needs to animate when he needs to flip across. There's a lot of things we need to do. One, we need to limit him to the walking zone, which we haven't defined. Another is we want to change scenes when we move across here. Another is that Y thing I was talking about. And when we're moving up and down, we want him to animate as well. There's a lot to do. But he also needs to flip. I already said that. How are we doing for time? 12 minutes. So we can first we should consult the dog. Scooby, what should we do first? Oh, let's see. How did we do it in that code we commented out? So what I'm going to work on is the up and down stuff. So I think it's handle user input. And move left. Oh, if you press up and down, he just doesn't. I don't think he animates. But I want him to. Right. So instead of having left move and right move, it's just like this is just a counter to see if we should change the thing. So I usually call it like holes. And then right move, just get rid of it. So you got holes, and let's get rid of right move, the whole method. Change animation just changes the, just increments the animation. Maybe right move, false move, and then change animation, right? I'll rename this to animate, maybe. And we'll just do this. That looks reasonable. I mean, it looks shit, but I mean, it always looks shit. At least he's like, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's good, that's done. Next, we want to flip him around, and we'll just rename this to facing left. Just get rid of that. And we don't need it. Ah, facing left. No, that just shouldn't go here. So here we just say like facing left equals true, facing left equals false, right? And when we draw it, if it's facing left, we want to. What does he default to? Instant walking. He is facing left by default. Okay, so float rotation 0.0, 0, I guess. Vector 2 origin is vector 2.0. Sprite effects. Float layer depth. Yeah, okay. So sprite effects, we'll actually make this sprite effects, maybe just for our sprite effects equals sprite effects dot flip horizontally. So I want to use something like this. Normally I would actually store this. I could do something like this. Flip horizontally. So we could do it like this. Facing left, and then ternary operator, and then if it's facing left, sprite effects dot none, right? Else, I think it's like that. Sprite effects dot flip horizontally. I hardly ever use a ternary operator. I don't really like it. Does that work? What's wrong? So hard to figure out what's wrong. So this is a sprite effects, right? Yeah. Zero? It is? Was it? Oh, was it? What's wrong? Texture, position. Let's just do the whole thing again. Sprite batch dot draw texture. We want the biggest one, I guess. We were missing a scale or something. We were missing something. Position. What is this? Framebox. Color dot white 0. Vector 2.0. Vector 2.0. Sprite effects 0. Alright, that should be okay. Okay, now let's see if that works.
Wilson.
Oh. So something went totally wrong. Let's see what's going on. Position 568. 360 should be visible. Frame box. Yes. Color and white. Oh, it's the scale. The scale 0. Which one was scale? It's that one. So vector 2.1 maybe? Nice. Nice! Okay, cool. Very cool. Very cool. So another thing we're missing is the cursor, right? Where's the cursor? The cursor is used in quite a few places. What's going on? Oh, okay. The cursor is used in quite a few places. It's used in 3 or 4 different states. So that means we can't just dump it into gameplay state, and we can't just dump it into one of the states. So it kind of needs to be like a singleton. We already have this cursor object, but it's just some objects in game 1. So where's cursor? Okay. And then cursor is probably used in a lot of places. Yeah, quite a lot. But we don't want to do it like this. We also want to like completely redesign cursor. So cursor is going to be a singleton pattern, and it's going to update itself and it's going to draw itself, right? We've got 3 minutes. Can we do anything in 3 minutes? We can. Oh, we can just start. See if we can maybe even draw the cursor to the screen. So there's a few different types of cursors. There's cursor dot. Let's just make a type public enum type none. Ooh, is there a none? No, there shouldn't be a none. Cursors. So we have like enter room, exit room, grab, look, talk. I think that's it. Is there item as well? There's item as well. Yeah, there's item. Okay. And then we want to have the same sort of singleton pattern as we have in Room Manager and all these other jerks. So we'll just grab this like this. Oh, we also want this. Oh no, we have a constructor. We don't need a constructor. So like that. Cursor. 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 Vector 2 visible. It's not really needed at all. Remove, right? Yeah, that's the thing. There's a few different textures we need. So we need to load these textures up as well. Arrow, grab, look, talk. We could just, I think we could just grab them all into this private texture 2D arrow, grab, look, talk. And then in the constructor we can load them up. Arrow equals globals.content.texture.load texture 2D. Arrow grab look talk. Grab look talk. Cursors slash arrow. Okay, so let's see if we can get the cursor drawing on screen. Shouldn't be too hard, right? Arrow grab look talk. Okay, so we've loaded up all these sections. Change cursor to visible. Select an inventory item. Position. I'm probably not going to mess with these, just because I want to get something up fast. But we will change them later. So we'll have like an update. Public void update. Public void draw sprite batch. And current texture. Do we need that actually? Yeah, let's do it like that. So current texture, we'll just set it to grab. Update, we'll just be setting the position. Is there a position? Yep, there is. So position equals controls.mouse position. It's a vector too, so that's great. Draw, we'll just draw the current texture at the current position. So sprite batch.draw, current texture position color.white. Right, not too crazy. So we'll go into gameplay state and we'll do a cursor.instance.update. Right, and then we'll do a cursor.instance.draw. Sprite batch.
Wilson.
Yeah, we got a cursor. That's great. So Wilson's walking around. There should be hotspots here. So this one lets you talk to Article. This one lets you enter the bakery. This one lets you enter the land cafe. And yeah, so there's only 3. Hotspots are a bit tricky to define because I want to like enable and disable them, and that means we kind of need to give each of them a name. So that's not it's not too bad actually. We could just have something like article hello 1 hotspot, hello A hotspot or whatever, and then enter bakery hotspot, enter land cafe hotspot, right? But when I first did this, it was just easier to like create all the hotspots globally and then just remove them or add them into the scene as I wanted them to become active. But that's not very good. Okay, so that's enough for today. Pretty happy with what we got. Tomorrow, not sure what I'll do. Maybe a bit more cleanup. Maybe hotspot stuff. Maybe room changing stuff. Yeah. Anyway, awesome.